Hi, VencoreWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Tuesday, January 19th. All signs continue to point to a major storm at the end of the week, early part of the weekend. It looks like a Friday, Saturday time period for this major snowstorm in the I-95 corridor and throughout much of the Mid-Atlantic region. This kind of a storm has the potential to dump 1 to 2 feet of snow from D.C. to Boston. And of course, it's still 3 days away. There's still some details that have to be ironed out. But all the overnight model runs continue to show the likelihood of a major snowstorm in the I-95 corridor Friday into Saturday. Let's start off by looking at the 0Z GFS model run from last night. We'll first look at the all-important upper part of the atmosphere, the 500 millibar level. Then we'll look at the surface from last night's GFS model run. And we'll take a quick look at some European model information and the Canadian model as well from last night. First of all, this is the forecast at 500 millibars for this evening. And the main thing I want to point out here, right here along the west coast, the northwest coast of the U.S., this is where the upper level feature will be that will set off the storm for the Friday, Saturday time period. This upper level feature by tonight will be just approaching the northwest coastline of the U.S. And this is kind of important because once that moves ashore late tonight, early tomorrow, computer forecast models will have a better handle of the situation. Just some better data sampling once an upper level feature moves over land. Certainly many more weather stations, for example, on the land mass here. So again, the main upper level feature moves ashore overnight tonight, and by tomorrow morning the computer forecast model should really have a good handle on the situation. But right now it looks like they have a pretty good agreement with several different computer forecast models, all pointing to a major snowstorm Friday and Saturday. Well, here's the 500 millibar forecast from last night's 0Z GFS model run for Thursday evening. We jumped ahead 48 hours from Tuesday evening to Thursday evening. That upper level feature dives down into the south central U.S. Just a very healthy looking trough in the upper part of the atmosphere. Again, that's a critical feature here, as that will help to rapidly intensify low pressure in the Friday to Saturday time period. We'll see the surface maps in a moment, but the low pressure will start off intensifying here in the Tennessee Valley, then really explode off the Mid-Atlantic coastline. Let's now jump out ahead and take a look at the upper level pattern another 24 hours later. And here is the forecast map for Friday night. A couple things I want to point out. There's very healthy upper level jet stream that will wrap around this deep upper level trough, all of which points to rapid intensification and a very powerful storm that will increase the pressure gradient by the time the weekend rolls around, and that in itself will assure very strong winds, especially at the coast, where winds could gust up to 50-60 miles per hour along coastal sections from this storm. Also, a closed upper level feature here that typically assures slow movement of the surface storm. And again, it looks like this is a Friday and Saturday, a long event coming, a high impact event coming, it looks like, for the I-95 corridor, much of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast U.S. Well, now let's take a look at the surface forecast maps from last night's 0Z GFS model run. By the way, the GFS has handled this situation pretty well. In fact, it was one of the first models to send a signal for a potential major storm at the end of the week. The Euro then kind of joined camp 12 to 24 hours later, the initial time of the GFS. By Thursday evening, low pressure over the south central part of the U.S. Strong high pressure here over northern Canada. Also a reflection of the high over the northeastern part of the country. Let's jump ahead 12 hours and we'll look at 12-hour increments here and go out another 12 hours right now. And here we go. By Friday morning, low pressure over Tennessee, the Tennessee Valley right here. Again, strong high pressure to the north, edges into the southeastern part of Canada. And we've often talked about the need for kind of a banana-shaped high-pressure system here to the north and northwest as a very important ingredient for snowstorms in the I-95 corridor. All of this is held in place by high-latitude blocking. We've talked about extensively over the last several days that is currently a feature in the upper part of the atmosphere over Greenland and northern Canada. That helps to keep the surface high pressure, this banana-shaped high, in place, and that in turn helps to sustain cold air for this upcoming storm system, a key ingredient, of course, to a major snowstorm in the I-95 corridor. Well, here we go, the forecast map for Friday evening. Low pressure jumps from the Tennessee Valley to near the Mid-Atlantic coastline at this time, intensifying along the way. Heavy precipitation, mainly in the form of snow from I-95 north and west. This blue line is rather indicative of where the rain-snow line should be Friday evening. There's still question if rain and sleet back up all the way into the I-95 corridor. Certainly that is still on the table, and of course that would have a big impact on snow accumulations. But right now it looks like generally a snow fall for the immediate I-95 corridor, and certainly for points north and west, certainly down by the coast, New Jersey coastline, for example, Delmarva Peninsula. They certainly can have some rain and sleet at times during this storm. But even in those areas, there should be a significant snow accumulation. Well, here's the forecast map for Saturday morning. That storm moves from around the eastern part of North Carolina to just off the Virginia coast. And at this time, it's just screaming east to northeast winds here in the mid-Atlantic region. Very strong winds, beach erosion possible along the coast. Full moon occurs Saturday night. That, of course, will not help situation at all in terms of the tides. And this could be just a very snowy time period here from Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon, maybe even into the Saturday evening time period. Again, look at this banana-shaped high to the north here, holding its ground right here. And here's that banana shape to this high pressure area, a key ingredient to the potential upcoming major snowstorm. Finally, here's a forecast map for Saturday night. Still snowing in the I-95 corridor Saturday night, probably beginning in the morning on Friday in the D.C. area, in the early to mid-afternoon in Philly, late afternoon in New York City. That, of course, is subject to change. It's still 3 days away, but notice here, we talked about this yesterday, a nice conveyor belt type pattern of snow here on the west to northwest side of this storm. Again, that's a red flag for some serious snowfall in the mid-Atlantic region. And again, this is during the latter part of Saturday, a high impact event and a long event from Friday right through the day on Saturday. This would be strong winds and snowing quite hard from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City at this time. Well, let's shift gears now from the GFS to the European. Actually, this is from the European ensemble run of last night, 0Z, and it's for the forecast map for the surface for Saturday morning. I just want to point out here, what you see here is basically its position is right off the North Carolina, Virginia coastline here. Now, all these other lows are the ensemble members, and those are showing where individual members of the ensemble run are actually placing the low. This is where the mean of all those are showing up. And really is kind of interesting. There's kind of a wide scattering of the lows, but all in all, they average out to be right around in this location right here. And this is, again, a perfect track for a snowstorm in the I-95 corridor and points to the north and west. Well, let's wrap up with a look at another model. This is the Canadian model from last night, 0Z. This is the forecast map at the surface for early Friday morning, about 5 or 6 in the morning. Notice the blues here, that's snow. The purple or reds here is a mixture of sleet and rain, and then the green is all rain here. This is, again, early Friday morning. According to the Canadian model from last night, snow is just about into the Washington, D.C. metro region, and it quickly becomes rather moderate, even some heavy snow not too far away at the starting point. Again, Friday morning. Let's now take a later look in the day on Friday. And here we go. This is the forecast map from the Canadian model for about 5 p.m. late Friday afternoon. At this time, the darkest blues here are heavy snow over D.C., moderate to heavy snow just about into the southeastern part of Pennsylvania, and by this time the snow is moving into the New York City region along the coastal area of the Delmarva Peninsula, southeastern Virginia, in the form of rain, but at this time still an all snow event here. So again, the timing from the Canadian model is in the morning in DC, early to mid-afternoon in Philly, and late afternoon in New York City. So still a major snowstorm appears to be on the way for the Friday-Saturday time period for the I-95 corridor. Stay tuned to VencoreWeather.com for updates. That's it for now. I'm